Hey, Dominic, how you doing? And there's Mr. Hodges, right on time.
Yep. Okay. You weren't that long.
No, it came down pretty quick.
Yeah. I was watching it. I backtracked a bit. I've
Yeah,
seen you playing there a couple times. But they've really got a dirty lens on that camera down there.
yeah, they do. They don't have any system to clean it either. That's the sad part.
Yeah. Oh, for live too. Okay.
Yep, Dominic's in the chat. AZ, hello.
Hey, indeed, Dominic. Hey, welcome, guys. Just getting the ball here rolling. So, what's everybody up to tonight or this afternoon? Because it's still afternoon in some places and morning in others. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Ugh.
Well, Paul Hodges, I made a purchase today. I don't know if I should have or not.
Oh no, what'd you buy, Paul?
Well, we can't tell Lynn.
Who?
Yeah, that's who.
Oh, her. Oh. Yeah, you are, Curtis. He's a definite third.
There it is, right there.
What? $99? That's a scam, Paul.
And it went down to $80 and I paid for it.
What? Where the hell did you buy it from?
This right here, GMO shop or whatever. And they advertise all kinds of like furniture and all kinds of stuff like they must be. And it's coming with a smart controller.
Something wrong there someplace.
I paid $80.
Yeah.
So it might be a scam. You're right. But I
Yeah.
figured for $80, it's a regular retail is like $1,700, $1,850.
Okay. And hope you paid with PayPal.
No, they don't take PayPal, just credit cards.
Yeah, because then you're guaranteed to get your money back. And down at the bottom it says trusted store.
And see, here's the electronics. You can click on it.
GMO what?
GMO shop.
Tops.
You know, I'll put this link in the copy this, and I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, morning all.
Good morning.
All afternoon, all depending on where you are. Yep. Well,
Hey.
I think for $80, it's worth a gamble.
That's what I thought.
It's gambling. But
There's the link to their main page, and you just select electronics
Where's the link? Oh,
in the chat.
oh, you put it in the chat. I want to go take a look at this.
yeah, I've seen there are places like this where
Well, what I'm thinking is they're either selling pallets of them or
refurbished,
yeah.
Floor stock, leftovers.
See, that's what the regular remote controller 99, but I got the one with the smart controller.
Yeah, I've seen places like this before. Could have got yourself a Mavic 2 Pro. Yeah. Well, we will soon find out. Do they have an estimated shipping date?
Let me go look at my order.
It's funny. I just went to the website. It says secure payment via PayPal.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
But if you look at the prices on there, Paul, how the hell can you go wrong?
Yeah, just try to look at the addresses here.
For $80, it's worth it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's worth the
Like
gamble.
90-something. Yeah, it's like 90-something% off. Why not?
Thank you for your purchase. There it is. View your order. It came to $99.60.
Yeah.
But
There was some sort of other discount as well. So, yeah, as I said, it's I reckon it's worth the risk.
that's what I kind of thought.
If nothing happens, or you get something that's,
Here's $99.60. I got
Yeah.
a promotional discount of $19.80 and insurance 20 cents, $80. Now, how could you not hit the buy button? I mean, I can't afford it, but what the hell?
Exactly.
They've got Inspire 2s on there for $99, Paul.
Yeah. Inspire?
Yeah,
Okay.
Inspire 2.
Yeah.
It's obviously shiploads of things that other places can't sell, or vacant lots.
Yeah, well, when I bought that earlier today, it said it only has 7 left,
Yeah, seven left. Yeah, 7 crates left. Might be just a.
Well, the thing of it is that on their home page, they have furniture, they have electronics, they have home goods, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And they also, when you look at them, they say for US, it's here, for UK is here, for all these other countries, you've got places to contact. So I don't know. Well, we'll wait and see.
Just wait and see.
It says I'm supposed to get it next week, so.
Okay, wow.
88% off. Well, how'd you manage to find that, Paul?
I went on to Marketplace.
Yeah.
They had a whole bunch of stuff on there really cheap, like drones.
Yeah.
So I clicked on it. It took me to there.
Could be just refurbished stock. You don't know. Because I don't know what you have there, but there's a thing called new old stock, which means that it's just a stock that hasn't been able to be sold. So they buy it in bulk. Yeah, as I said, I don't know. We could.
Yeah, it's funny. Go to that page, electronics page. Everything they got there, $99.60. Everything.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, as I said, what might happen is.
See, now it used to say 9 or 7 left. Now it's down to 1 left.
Oh, okay. So who's going to buy the last one? So the thing is, if they sell them quickly, if they sold 10 of those really quickly, it pretty much made it's probably just a front for something.
Yeah.
See, there it is with the regular controller, but this one has the smart controller.
Yeah. Paul, just do me a favor.
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath because you might pass out.
But if it comes, Paul, I'll be shocked.
Oh, yeah. You go to that page, everything on that page, doesn't matter, home improvement, table, chairs, whatever, appliances, everything's $99.60. Yep. You think they'd vary the price to make it look good? Yeah. Let me see. Oh, here we go.
Scam detector.
Yeah. They give this business a 14.7 out of 100. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yep. Yeah, I realize that, AZ, but I figured for the $100 or $80,
Yeah.
I'd give it a shot, because the average person, it takes out a family of four and they spend well over $80 to $100. So,
Hmm.
and I don't do that. I don't go out anywhere. So
And
this
free
is my one big, this is like my lottery,
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Think of the millions of billions of dollars people paid to get into the mega
Yeah.
lottery, and you the winners are only 1.2 billion odds against you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
Yep. We will soon find out.
Yep, we'll find out.
You might have spent $80 on a house brick. So
Yep.
I can't sit here and overanalyze it until something happens.
Yeah.
Curtis bought a ticket in the Mega Millions, and he's one of the millions of people that lost.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
the
you
reason
might
I
get
know
something.
that is if he won, he wouldn't be on here.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, you just have to be very lucky to win
Yep.
those sort of things.
Yeah, somebody won it that was up in the state of Maine, up on the Canadian border.
Hmm. Hello, Kelly.
Kelly.
Oh, you won something. $40.
wow?
It depends on how much a ticket is.
No, come on. You want to go outside?
Yeah, if you won a
$2 was
$2. Yeah, well, I don't know how much Curtis spent, but if he won more than he spent,
He's ahead
that's a
of,
win.
yep. Yeah, but it isn't like a magnificent win, you know?
Oh. But is that a weekly? Is that a weekly draw or?
Twice a week, I think, but
Oh,
now
okay.
it resets. It was 1.3 or 1.5 billion dollars. It got up to.
Yeah. So what does it start? What does it reset to? What's the minimum? Where's
It's
it
called
start?
Mega Millions, so it's in the millions.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to work it out because we've got a different lottery system here as well. So I'm just trying to work out because we have 5 different ones. There he is.
There it comes, Curtis.
Yes,
Now,
good. Is he going to explain?
So the ticket is $2, and then you
Yep.
buy the multiplier, which is another $1. So it's
Yep.
$3 I spent.
Yep. So you spent $3 and you won 40. So that
$40.
means you're $37 in front.
I call that a win.
Yeah.
well, sure it is. It isn't a mega win, but it's a win.
And
I-
Paul, you were also incorrect. If I had won the big one, I would
Yeah.
not be ignoring you guys. I would be on the show still. I would just be doing it from my boat.
From your yacht.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sipping martinis and the whole bit. Yeah, I get it.
No, the situation is with things like lotteries. Well, over here, ours is a slightly different system. But if I let's say bought a ticket and I won enough money to pay for next week's ticket, that's what I call a win.
Good
Because-
evening, Kelly Taylor.
Hello, Kelly.
Hello. You're not sneezing at 300 million at least. Even if you did take all the taxes out, you're still.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how yours works out. The taxes for the lottery are taken out when you buy a ticket here. So you've already paid that tax. And they either give you a lump sum amount or a salaried amount each year. And the salaried amount each year is a lot higher. So I don't know how you do it.
We do it a very similar way. We don't pay the taxes up front, though. There's no way to know how much the tax is. They pull. So if you won the latest lottery, they pull out 24% out and pay the federal government. And then depending on which state you're in, I'm in Washington State. Washington State doesn't pull any taxes out of the lottery. So we're good to go there. But at the end of the year, this kicks you into a higher income bracket. So at the end of the year, when you do your taxes, you're going to have to pay again because it kicks you up into that 37% tax bracket, the highest one in the United States. So there is that.
So the government always love getting their pound of flesh.
But we're quibbling over peanuts because if you got 300 or 400 million dollars, I think you could afford to split with a couple of million or 4 million or 5 million or 10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really a big deal. So I do have some interesting news.
Oh, great.
I now have 4 ROVs.
Oh, wow.
I heard that.
Well, that's good.
And somebody was nice and donated us an awning, a weatherproof awning. So we're going to go out
That's right.
tomorrow in the rain and set this awning up on the pier. It's
Is it still raining there, Curtis?
Yes.
Oh,
I might
It's going to rain until July 4th. It's just going to, and I mentioned this to people and they said, well, what if you had an awning? And I said, well, I don't want to go buy an awning.
So someone gave it to you, huh?
Right. So there's
Well, they don't blow away. It'd be all right, right?
You've scored.
well, we're on a wood deck, so wood pier. So I'm assuming we can nail it down. I don't know. I'll figure it out when we get there. But yeah, we're going
Probably
out
some
tomorrow.
sort of stakes that go into the ground and
Well, we're on a pier.
down with a.
what you got people that you go out with? Is that?
Yeah, that was the other good news. There's a gentleman named Andrew that would like to work in marketing for this company. And he had an interview with him and they said, well, you're close to Curtis. You need to go talk to him. And I was like, well, I don't have anything to do with that, but I'll tell you what, I need somebody to run my live show. So if you want to put a microphone on you and run the YOLO box and make it interesting while the other three guys, me and two other guys, are diving for that. So he's coming out tomorrow.
Cool.
And he is well versed in the underwater world. He's done a few documentaries about the Nisqually tribes and their traditional net fishing and various salmon and Dungeness crab things. So he's pretty well versed about what's going on.
That's a positive thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Kelly, you're a lucky winner. She likes to play bingo, and one day she with all the old ladies, she went and she won $3,500.
Well done, Kelly. Well done.
Now, do you have to claim that on your taxes? Of course you do.
If you're honest. But I think everybody's just throwing money around at the bingo thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Been interesting.
So tomorrow we're going to meet.
Australia.
Just to wrap my part up. Tomorrow we're going to meet at 10, and probably 30 minutes after that, after we get everything set up, it's a bunch of new things we're going to be doing. So we'll be going live. I'm going to say around 11. If anybody wants to jump over there and say hello.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Mike Rennick.
That's 11 o'clock your time?
Yeah, 11 o'clock Pacific.
Oh, that'd be about 2 o'clock here. I should be
2
home.
o'clock in the afternoon.
Mr. Hodges, you're one of the few moderators over there, by the way.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to
Oh,
Mall
you're really
show
good.
in the morning, so they're show and sale. They haven't had it for about 2-3 years, so because of COVID, right?
Might be a bit early for me.
I'm just waiting for some news that my niece is going to have a baby tonight. We'll see.
Ooh.
She's
Do
at
they
the
know is it going to be a boy or a girl, or they don't know?
I don't think they know yet. I'm not sure. But anyways, her first one, and they have to induce it. They've induced her, so they're just waiting now.
Okay.
How about something kind of interesting? It's a USB charger with 3 plugs.
I've got one of those. So it's one USB-C, one Lightning, one micro USB, or how is it set up?
It's all USB-C.
Oh, okay, even better.
Because I have like 4 tablets I have to charge before I go out. I'm literally setting my stuff up now so I can be ready for tomorrow.
That's good then.
Anybody need a yellow box? I got an extra one. I got the one Paul sold me. I'm not using.
You bought the deluxe one, the bigger one, right?
Yeah. I should have just done that in the first place.
Mm.
Oh, kind of like what you just did with the drone that you bought. Maybe.
Yeah.
You had it at such a good price. I was like, oh, this will be great. I'll buy this. But as soon as I got it, I knew I wanted the extra features.
Yeah, you wanted the bigger beast.
Yeah, that's just the way I roll. I wanted all the other options that were in there.
Mm.
I finally got my 2 monitors set up going.
Well, that's good.
It's kind of weird because I used to have two computers set up with two keyboards, two mouse, and everything else. But
Mhm.
the other computer just kind of went, it just finally burned out. I overused it. And so I disconnected it, transferred all my files, so everything's on one computer now. And I had this other monitor sitting here, and I was like, well, I might as well plug this thing in. So I find myself still reaching for the other keyboard and the other mouse when I go to do something on this other monitor.
Mm.
I know, first world problems.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you want? You gotta go outside? Okay. I'll be right back, guys.
No worries.
Mia starts, when she starts pacing, she wants something. She wants to go out, I think.
Mm.
Okay, all right, okay.
So what's the weather like there, Paul?
Oh, freaking cold.
Can I trade you some heat?
Yeah, geez. I put it, look at this, got a sweater on it. I know
Yeah.
it's working, but it just seems cool in here at night. Just kind of dampish, right? So,
Mm. Yeah, we cracked the 100 yesterday, so
Huh.
it was like it's 70 overnight, so that's pretty hard to sleep.
Now she just wanted dessert.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
see, somebody's got a kitchen faucet for sale, and the same one I got. I actually really like it. Like,
Nice.
it's got the regular plus the
Yeah.
inlet, but that'll turn yellow and then turn red when you go to hot, eh?
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Yeah, it'll let you know if the water.
Was it like heat sensitive?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I really like it actually.
Wow.
Hmm.
Never seen one of those.
How much are they asking for that?
I think they were 189 on Amazon, but I got mine for $100, brand new, still in the box.
Oh,
Well
wow.
done.
But that one there, somebody was already installed it, but didn't like the color. They wanted a black one, so they're selling it for $100. But it's good for rinsing stuff off real quick, because you leave the one lever on. If you jump quick rinse, throw it in the dishwasher, right? Just
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, gone are the days where you just had one little
Did you-
tap when it just turned it.
Did
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, did you see what Kelly put in the chat?
Yeah. uh,
The old ladies were giving her a hard time for winning
yeah, but
bingo.
that's Australia.
yeah.
That's Australia for you.
One old lady tried to attack her while she was food shopping.
Yeah, that happens. It's a bit of a tall poppy thing. If you become famous, people like to bring you down.
Now she wants to go out.
Ugh, never ending story then.
Where are you going tomorrow then, Curtis? The place you've been before?
I'm thinking about Les Davis Pier again because we haven't done the left side. We haven't searched on the left side over there.
Okay. Is that where you've been finding those phones and all that?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we just had New Year's, and there was a lot of people out there shooting out fireworks and drunk. So
Oh, cool. Might be
I
some
think
more phones on the other side.
I think there might be some fun stuff.
Yeah. Are you taking all four tomorrow?
Just 3 of them. I just have 3 pilots.
Oh, okay. How's that? Oh, what car? You taking that new one or
Yeah. Yeah.
latest one?
Hmm.
Yeah, go.
Most definitely.
Come on, me. Yeah.
Dominic, what's new with you, buddy?
Oh, not much. Not much yesterday. It was just too hot to do anything. 102 Fahrenheit. So I wasn't able to get out and do anything. Just pretty much stayed at home for most of the day.
Right, we're at the other end of the scale. You know,
Mm.
0. I
Yeah.
think morning it was 2. It felt like 2 degrees out this morning Fahrenheit.
That 2 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So there's 100 degrees difference. Unbelievable.
Kelly's hot. The heat,
And we
the heat is bad where Kelly is.
Oh, well, I don't know where Kelly is, but we were talking about the heat where I am. I believe Kelly's in Queensland. So yeah, we've had a bit of a heat wave.
I would think that you live on the southern side of Australia, right?
Yeah, I live on the southeastern part.
Okay.
So eastern seaboard, most, pretty much most southern, most southern of mainland Australia, because we do have Tasmania.
So
Yeah.
your situation would be very similar to like Florida, where you're warmer area, but the further you go south, the cooler it gets, right?
Yeah.
Where is the warmest temperature? Where does the equator go through
The equator goes through Queensland.
Queensland?
So
Oh, yeah.
So they have the very humid temperatures, and hot and humid. And if you go to the west of Queensland, which is Northern Territory, Darwin is like 30 degrees every day of the year, basically.
It's kind of
90%.
like a tropical feel to it.
Yeah. That's to the north of Queens. Sorry, no. Yeah, to the north and west. Okay. Thanks, Kelly. 25. We're at 18 Celsius. Because that's at what, 70-ish?
Yeah.
But yeah, Queensland is pretty much good in winter as well. Oh, the northern and northwestern parts of Australia are pretty much like that, because they're up towards the equator, because they're on top of. Okay, thanks, Kelly.
And Kelly's
Yes.
got an overcast, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's almost foggy here.
Yeah.
The strange sort of foggy cloud. We're back at Mid Journey. Was it Mid Journey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of it.
Trying to create a treasure map. Not quite getting what I want, but some people just get really lucky. Look at that.
Yeah,
Luxury
think
watch face design time.
yeah.
It's like, dude, you got exactly what I wanted. I get this kind of, it's okay.
Yeah, maybe
This
it
is
is a
one of the-
lottery, man. It's not bad. Depends on what you want, because it's a little bit harder. Yes, I have Kelly. I know exactly where it is. Lovely spot there. There's a lot of lovely places in Australia.
So she lives north of Tim, right?
Yeah. Further north you go from me is it means it's further away.
Okay.
'Cause I'm basically at the not the southern tip, but pretty close to it. Because we're inside a bay.
A bay.
Yeah, a bay. Yeah, we live in we have Port Phillip Bay, and that you've got the coastline of Victoria. Bass Strait is under us, and then there's Tasmania, and inside that little bay is where basically Melbourne, the whole metropolitan area of Melbourne is situated.
But it's in
That's
a bay.
Yeah, bay.
Well, if I ever come there, I want to be able to pronounce the words correctly.
Yes. Believe me, if you come, but the trouble is,
But
there are different dialects and accents in Australia.
well,
So
we have the
that's
same
it.
thing here. There's people from the south and people from the north.
Yeah, it's even harder, and you can
And-
tell.
And then there's the people from Bellevue and Medina.
Yeah, but it's funny. Each state, you can actually tell where a person was born in each state, because it's a you know, as I call it, the wide brown land. It's very interesting, to say the least. I come from one of the smaller states. We've got 6 of them. Well, 5 on the mainland, 5 on the mainland, one island, and 2 territories.
Are you checking your shipping, Paul? Make sure it's getting shipped.
No,
Yeah.
I'm,
He's going to be hitting F5 on that tracker every 5 minutes. He's just going to check to see where it is.
Paul.
Mm. We've got some very lovely coastline down here as well.
I would love to come down and dive some of my ROVs down there.
Mm. Got many areas you'd love to go to.
Even if it got ate by a shark, it would be worth it getting the footage.
Yeah. We've got some lovely beaches. Some
does
lovely
does that
coastline.
happen?
It does. It does. I wouldn't say often, but
They have the great
occasionally you
white
will
down
see
there.
it done. Yeah, well, we've got a lot of water too. But when you got, I think, 30,000 kilometers of coastline, you know, it's obvious that you're gonna encounter a shark. Or as we call them down here, we call them Noah's Ark.
What do they eat? 2x2 or something?
No, because it's rhyming slang for shark. We have this strange rhyming slang, which is adopted from the Cockney in the UK, because we are part of Mother England. And
Right.
most of us were convicts. I wasn't, but yeah. That's how the colony of Australia started.
Yeah, it was
Convict,
penal colony, wasn't it?
penal
Yeah.
colony.
That's a
Mm.
long way to take somebody from England to a penal colony, isn't it?
Yep.
The other side of the world, for crying out loud.
You had to really piss somebody off.
Yeah.
Mm. Yep. Most of Australia is not necessarily a penal colony, but New South Wales, it was pretty much founded on that, and that's the state above me and below Queensland. Yeah. And most of Australia is uninhabited anyway.
Yeah, you're central. There isn't much going on there, is there?
No.
Well, now,
No.
where are the Aborigines? Are they still any that are still the way they always were, or they have been assimilated?
That is a very contentious topic. Very contentious topic.
Yeah.
Not for us.
Well, they like to be referred to as First Nations people these days.
Oh,
Well, that's similar
Yeah.
to our American Indians.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say because they're indigenous to Australia, so any indigenous people would have the same contentions about them. There are many various tribes around Australia. I wouldn't say they're much like they were when Captain Cook arrived, but they they're pretty much part of society. They're, everyday people like us. I'm not saying, I don't want to sound a racist when I say that, but
I don't think
I
you are.
don't see any
You're
difference.
educating us.
Can you
yeah, I don't see any difference.
can you tell when they talk that they are Aborigines in origin, or?
Not entirely, but their physical features are different. So, yeah, if their physical features are different, and it depends on various factors.
I would imagine there's some of them that are very strict and follow the norms of old, and there's some of them probably that have embraced what reality is now, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to tiptoe around. I'm trying to tiptoe around that commentary, because it might also sound a little I'm not going to say elitist, but I'm trying to basically say that there is no difference. If I go out and you see someone working, you don't necessarily say, oh, that.
Yeah.
And they can be, a different generation where they have assimilated into our culture. Kelly is on it because she understands how cautious you have to be about it.
yeah.
You have to be very cautious about it. But I have no problem with it. I have no problem with, you'll see someone, maybe working at a cafe, or working here, working there, or just in general. And I see beyond that. I actually see the person itself. So, but yeah. And they might be from a different tribe. They might be from a different state, because they have their own little, they have their own tribes. And it's all about respect. You just respect.
Well,
respect
here
the
we
person
have
itself.
it's called nation within a nation, and it's not something I think it should be, because they utilize the services that we as a nation provide. I think it should
Yeah.
be all one nation.
Yes. And that's the whole issue we have here. You have certain elements that want to divide and keep them away from each
And
other.
I'm part Indian. I'm part Comanche Indian, Lawton, Oklahoma. Very small part. Not enough really to claim anything, but
Well, Dre is correct with his comment. It's not their assimilation, but the laws that once kept them apart are no longer being enforced. Well, that is correct. And our First Nations people didn't get to vote until 1967. And I think that's appalling.
They couldn't vote until 1967.
wow.
So they really were segregated.
Yes. And
Wow.
that's appalling.
I can understand why some of them might
Exactly.
have an attitude.
Yeah.
Kelly has
Yeah.
plenty of jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with
Please,
what
Kelly, enlighten us.
Oh no, you're not allowed to. You'll get cancelled. You're not allowed to, unless you're, or at least you're specifically Indigenous and Indigenous First Nations. You can't make jokes about them. You can't make jokes about anybody these days. You can't tell jokes, really.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Even comedians are having a hard time trying to tell jokes nowadays.
Can't even tell a joke about a guy's wife that's bald.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You get cancelled these days. But yeah, if they're the ones making the jokes, that's
It's
fine.
okay.
Yeah. If you're from a specific heritage and you make a joke about that heritage, then that's fine. It's like me, I've got an Italian background, so I can make jokes about Italians.
Oh,
You know?
I lived in Italy for 3 years. I want to go back so bad.
Yeah, I can say, don't poke fun at Italians because we're great knife throwers. I'm allowed to say that. Here's Dre.
Hey, Dre.
The stream just went classy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dre's here to add a little bit of class.
I need a tie. Dre's
And,
here.
and some education.
That's right.
Curtis, you're just fine. Today's Saturday.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
right. It's relaxed Saturday. Okay.
Yeah, relaxed Saturday. Yeah. I'm interested and curious about the subject matter because this affects, I would say, close to 90% of the countries on this planet.
Yeah.
One version or another. And, like I say, people, no matter, you're Canadian or you're Australian, American, or whatever.
Yeah.
Every society has struggled with this issue. And part of that struggle is how do the First Nation or the original people, or even those who were
You are correct, Kelly.
brought to that land, how are they able to, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for, come to some kind of resolution themselves? And that's why
We use the term treaty.
yeah, well, treaty, whatever, but the thing is here,
Yeah.
you're the first people of some country, and then you have others come and basically not so
I like
much
them.
is a point of them taking over, but the system that was created holds that people down,
Mm.
and it's not just for a short period of time. It goes on for centuries in some parts.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. I was just reading a story about a lady. She's originally from Louisiana. Her background primarily is French and Native American, and she had African American in her. She was very fair skinned because of her background. She married a guy from New York. So when she transferred up to New York out of Louisiana, she kept the African American part of her heritage a secret. Because of her fair skin, she was easy to assimilate, or as we say, pass on. As we in my culture, we would say she passed through, and it kept that a secret from her family until her granddaughter kind of figured out when she was doing a DNA type search, ancestry type search, and then she found out. And now she admits that she put a picture of herself up there. You would never know. She does not show any characteristics or anything of being African American, but you know, she was said in a way she was hurt, but in a way she understood why that secret was kept. Now I don't know all the things of Australia, but the little bit of information I've had about Australia is similar, almost a mirror image of what happened here in the United States. Like you said, they didn't even have the right to vote till 67. African Americans didn't have the right to vote until 64. Okay. And like I said, talking about this lady's story, she's from Louisiana. Louisiana just now, not just now, but didn't drop the 1 drop rule, which means if you had 1 drop, 1/30 seconds of blood, African American blood in your bloodline, you were considered African American 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
That
Similar
law was,
percentage here.
yeah, that law was not taken off the books until 1983.
holy crap.
And that's why I tell people a lot of time is I said, most of African Americans here in the United States are not mad about slavery. We are upset about the treatment since slavery. That is the issue. I mean, slavery had its point, had its reasons, and whatever outcome of that may be. But once the slavery part was ended, it's how do you reconcile Jim Crowism? And Jim Crowism is not a Southern thing. It's a United States thing. Just up there where Curtis is at. After slavery, the state of Oregon would not allow African Americans to own property. California was a similar. Could not allow to own property. Could not marry outside their race. It was against the actual law.
Wow.
Okay. Even in states like New York had slavery at a very early time in its history. And even after slavery was ended, African Americans could not testify in court against somebody who perpetrated a crime against them. And this went on until the 1940s. So this is why I'm saying that, you know, there is a lot of history that is not available. And when I know that a lot of these things were similar in Australia, similar in India, similar in England, to where if you were an immigrant from another country in England, you didn't have all the rights and privileges of the regular citizenry. Okay. And that's how it's been in a lot of countries. If you were part of the minority group or a minority group, and if you happen to be of a culture that was basically taken over by another group, you were basically second-class citizens at that point. And this went on up until the last 20 and 30 years in some countries. You know, and that's why I look at the continent of Africa. The continent of Africa has been colonized, basically by every other country. Half of Europe basically ran half of Africa up until and after World War II. From everything from the Dutch, the British, the French. I mean, that's why you think when Vietnam War happened, what was the first names we heard? It was French Indochina. It wasn't Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay. The French were there before the Americans showed up. For 20 years, the French was fighting the Viet Cong before the Americans showed up. Because it was a French colony.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of history, no matter where you go on this planet, where you see these different type of scenarios play out, to where the indigenous population and is trying to establish themselves or try to at least be treated as equals as those who came, and that's just a mere fact.
Wow.
And that's why I say it's for African Americans here in the United States, it's not about slavery, it's the treatment since slavery. That's why you'll find documents in housing areas. It's like, matter of fact, there's a bank here in LA just the other day. I see the news report. City National Bank here in LA has been sued for, I guess the settlement was like $32 million for purposely redlining against African Americans and Latino communities, which basically means they would not secure any loans for housing purposely. And that happened. That was general things. Same thing happened up in the northern parts of California. You hear the term sundown laws. Glendale, California has sundown laws on its books until the mid 1970s. If you were African Americans, the local police could pull you over, take you into jail, and hold you overnight because you violate the sundown laws of that city. Because if you were African American, you were not allowed within the city limits after dark. And those laws were put into effect until the mid 70s. And so there's a lot of things, and like I tell people, a lot of these laws are still on the books in a lot of places. They're just not being enforced. So I always tell people, you have to be mindful of your local politics, especially national politics, on certain levels, because all it takes is an act of a judge to reverse that. The last judge who said it was unconstitutional, or it was unlawful to have those type of laws. Like I say, that's how a lot of our laws get established, and everything else is by usually some judge making a decision on something being accurate, constitutional, unconstitutional, whatever. It's not always the body, the legislation, who should be the ones who take back these laws, for lack of a better word, are in, I guess, that's what I'm looking for. Just makes you strike these laws off the books or add new laws stating that this is illegal behavior. It's just the fact that we no longer enforce these behaviors or these practices. Because a lot of this now is all dealt in business practices and stuff. So, yeah, go ahead, Dominic.
I was going to say another thing, because Kelly brought it up, about we've got Australia Day coming up on the 26th of January. And there are certain sections of our community that refer to it as Invasion Day. So we have to be very careful at how we portray that. But at the same time, we need to celebrate what Australia really is. And Australia is a very diverse culture. It doesn't matter where you're from, your race, color, creed, religion, whatever.
Yeah,
you're here, and if you've taken the citizenship test and got to become a citizen, you're Australian. Doesn't matter where you're from.
Yeah. Well, like the big push in the United States is all about Christopher Columbus. As a child of my generation, Paul's generation, that's what we were taught. 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
It's like there was nothing here until then.
Right. And that's what we were fed as children, through all our years, until you wouldn't hear a different story until you went to college, if you heard a different story then. And then you look at the accuracy of that statement, Columbus never stepped foot in America. He wound up in the Caribbean. So I guess it's one of the things about those in power write history to fit their narrative.
Oh, definitely. And
that never changes.
And it's the same thing here. We had many explorers come to Australia, but Captain Cook supposedly, he didn't colonize it because we had various other colonizers, as they like to call them. I agree. Kelly just chimed in and said, no, we don't have to be careful. I enjoy it and basically tell everybody, carry on about Invasion Day to shush, and I don't want to hear about it. Totally correct.
In the chat, Paul?
What's that?
I don't.
You see who's in the chat?
You about AZ
And
or
No,
Sam
Sam
Hayden?
Hayden.
Sam
Yeah,
Hayden.
Sam
Sam.
Hayden. Hey, Sam, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
we've had many different. We've had the Dutch come in. We
Right.
had the Dutch come into Western Australia. We had the Germans come into South Australia. We had Matthew Flinders come into Victoria. We had Arthur Phillip come into New South Wales. We've had many different people come here, but Captain Cook is the one that is mentioned more often.
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen Dom squirm as much as he has.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to be very careful.
Careful
I
in the
realize
streets.
and appreciate that, but I gotta say I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yeah,
We talk about Australia, but even I would say even more recently would be the area of New Zealand.
yes,
New Zealand is quite obvious where you have almost, same thing in Australia. You have two cultures. They have done their best to try to integrate one with the other and go from there. But like you said, you have those from the old guard and the new guard. And that's where, the history, the clashes of the history come about.
yeah,
And so forth. So
and they've got more. They've got way more of a clash with the Maoris
Mhm.
because they're a bigger percentage of the population.
Yeah. And I can talk about other places like Portugal and Spain.
Hmm.
If you look in most history books, you talk about Portugal and Spain being one of the world powers during colonialism times. Okay.
Yeah.
But you never hear about Portugal and Spain being taken over for almost 700 years by the Moors.
Correct.
Okay. The Moors came from North Africa and they dominated everything between Portugal and Spain, like I said, for a 700-year period. And Spain has done everything they possibly can to, as a term they call, whitewash that period of history from their halls and everything else
Exactly.
and stuff.
And another comment from Kelly there is absolutely spot on. And the comment has to be, the sins of the father should never be visited upon the son. Okay, things did happen. And many atrocities have happened in history.
Right.
But I'm not to blame for it. It has nothing. I'll respect what's happened, and we must never let it happen again. But you can't blame me. But living in Australia, you can't blame me what happened to the First Nations people. I'm very happy to respect them and help as much as I can. But unless I physically did something to it, then yes, I'll take the blame and I'll be punished for it. But I can't be punished for something just because I live in Australia. And I think that's wrong.
Well, that's the same argument we get here in the United States as people argue because everybody wants to go back to slavery. And I say, yeah, nobody currently today owns a slave. Nobody currently today in the last 2-3 generations was a slave. Okay, on both sides, didn't own, didn't was not part of it. But like I said, it's the continued action since then. When you have laws containing a group of people, restricting their movement, restricting their access to housing, restricting their access to education, all these different things that the other parts of the population take for granted as no problem. I can go here, I can live there, I can work here, those type of things. And when you make rules and regulations and outright laws restricting that type of natural activity, that's where the pain continues from one generation to the next, and so forth. I mean, here in the United States, like I said, we have the Native Americans, and I kind of giggle because I think now, I mean, there are several tribes across this nation now where Native Americans are. I say they're not getting all the land back, but they're sure getting plenty of money from these casinos and stuff. But there's a bunch of other tribes who have nothing still, and hopefully we're the ones that have something.
the rules go two different ways also. Like right now, we're
Mhm.
having an issue with Dungeness crab. There's a shortage of crab in the United States or in the Puget Sound region.
Mhm.
So commercial fishers are told you can't fish for Dungeness crab, but the Indian nation still can.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a similar
Right.
situation here.
Yeah. And I get what you're saying, Curtis, on that. And like I said, it's two sides of the same coin perspective. I mean, you have an endangered species, no matter who's fishing for it.
Right.
But they go back and say for generations, we were not permitted to do anything. We were not permitted to operate a business,
Reach it
not
up and
permitted to
run.
be on these ships to gather in on this economic enterprise. So like they say now, unless you are part of such and such tribe, whatever, you can't have this way of life, and you're giving it back to them. But I said the whole problem is you have an endangered species, so no one should be allowed to
Yeah.
fish for it until you're able to bring the population back up of the species. So that's the real problem. But now
Right.
they want to sit there. Like I say, you have the same issue on the same side of a coin, and nobody wins is what the whole issue is. But everybody's like I say, everybody wants to
Yeah.
pay back for past wrongs. I said, well, there's several ways you can do that, and just like speaking from African American point, we talk about reparations. Okay.
Yeah, we've got
People-
that issue
Yeah,
too.
people talk about reparations. The first thing they want to think, oh, it's all about money. I said, no, reparations can come in different forms.
Yep.
Okay, reparations can come through education, through training,
Yep,
through
yep.
different other methods and stuff. That doesn't mean you're gonna write a check and just say, okay, everybody's bless you and everything else, going about your way. And we're all
Yep.
and the debt roll is clear.
Yeah.
Here in the late 80s here in California, and it wasn't just California, but this where the main activity occurred. During World War II, we had the internment of the Japanese Americans. Okay.
Yep.
A lot of them lost everything, lost their housing, lost their businesses. Those who were in school could not complete their
Dirty.
education, all that kind of good stuff. And I think it was in the mid 80s, the federal government wrote a check to any descendants of those people who were interned. We're given a check, and that goes along with the same thing of those involved in those who survived the Holocaust. To this day, Germany writes out a check to those survivors to this day of the Holocaust.
Mm.
So there's different countries who have tried to
Well, that's
make amends.
The
One way or
clarification on
another.
that one is
Yeah.
it's the survivors. It's not
Right? Yeah, it's a survivor. That's what I'm saying. Survivors,
and that makes sense to me. I totally agree with that.
yeah. The survivors got
But
that.
it's not the grandson of the grandson of the grandson of the survivor.
Yeah.
Right. And like you say, but this is something that happened more recently in our history. So there are survivors.
Mm.
So that's why, look at the point that, okay, the Aborigines, okay, they couldn't vote till 67.
Yeah.
Okay. How many other laws were enacted in Australia that barred them from everyday life activities? Okay. Most of them may not be around today. Okay. I always tell people when we get on these discussions, about race relations stuff, I say, I might have been born post-Civil War, but I was born pre-civil rights. So when I was born, segregation was still activity. I could not, my kindergarten class, there's certain kindergartens I could not attend. First grade. If I would not been going to school on a military base, my first, second, third grade might have been different.
Yeah.
Okay, where I went to school at and who I went to school with. Because those laws are still in the books. Everybody talked about the 64 Act here in the United States, but there are other laws like housing, education, stuff like that are still in the books in many states and everything else. People talk about the who you want to marry. There's a movie just a couple of years ago about the Loving Case. All right, white guy marries a black girl in Virginia. They get basically banned from the state of Virginia for 20 years. They were banned from the state of Virginia. And it took the Supreme Court to strike that down. And that original court decision happened in 1961, the year I was born, and it wasn't struck down by the Supreme Court until 1970 something as being unconstitutional.
See, now there would be a case where I would think I agree with reparations, but
Mhm.
it's like if you go forward now, their
Mhm.
great-great-grandchildren, I don't think deserve a dime.
Exactly.
Well, like I said before, it's the conditions on their livelihood from that point forward. You're kicked out of the state that you were born and raised in because you married somebody of the wrong color. All right. So now you have to uproot yourself away from your families. They had, I mean, one time they were living in DC and they ended up moving somewhere else and stuff until all this court case was going through. For over a decade, they were in court, going back and forth to court for over a decade. So, like I said, during that time, they had children and stuff. They had a family, all that kind of stuff. So, what was the impact on that family because of that judge's decision? Okay, what was the impact on those children? Because they were not able to go visit. They couldn't even go visit cousins, grandparents, all this kind of stuff. They were cut off from their families. Period. So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of ways and different aspects you can look at this, and it's and like I say, the hurt continues on down the generational train of families because the stories get told and retold, and like I say, there's more coming of light through different books, movies, and all these different things. Just like the one movie just came out recently called Devotion, which is about the first black naval aviator. It's a nice little movie if you get a chance to watch it. My father was stationed in Castle Air Force Base in Northern California. Same time, was stationed with the guy's brother there in the Air Force. And my dad remembered when I told my dad about this movie, he said, "What was the guy's name?" And I said, "Well, his name was so-and-so." And he says, "I knew the guy." And he said his brother was a first black naval aviator. I said, "Oh, really?" And they make, here it is, 2020, 22, a movie comes out about this guy and his activities in the Navy and how he was shot down in Korea and everything else. And to this day, they have not recovered his body.
Right next.
To this day. And he talks about in the movie, he talks about the struggles he had, getting through training and everything else. And one part was kind of, I wish they would have portrayed this in the movie, how he said that he had to do the swim crawl 10 times. He had to redo the swim crawl. And he said they went through things where they were putting weights in his swim gear. They were putting ice in the pool, everything trying to make this man fail to be qualified to become an aviator. And see, and that rings close to home for me because my father was refused to go to flight school because he didn't have the required 2 years of college that was imposed on African Americans at the time, which started back in World War II for the Tuskegee Airmen program. You had to have a minimum of 2 years of college, where anybody else didn't matter. As long as you scored high enough on the altitude test, you went to flight school. So my father did not get a chance to go to flight school. He ended up qualifying for a flight crew status. And even then, he had told me that many people were refusing to train with him because of his presence. And it took a captain to step in and say, if this guy fails, let him fail on his own. You will not fail him, basically because of his race. So, a lot of these things, like I say, strike me down. You guys say, okay, that happened to my dad. This is where you talk about how it affects the next generation. Those of you who know military families know this. Most officers, their kids become officers. Okay, it's almost like a family thing. My dad was a 20-year plus man. Okay, so there would have been a highly likely that my older brother or myself would have went to some kind of military prep school or military college for sure, and become possibly got an appointment to either one of the academies, the Air Force Academy. That was in Air Force. We got a chance to go to Air Force Academy. All these different things that, in other words, doors open up for you when you have certain privileges and status. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So, because of what was denied my dad, yes, it impacted me in a way I never know. Okay, I missed out maybe on some opportunity that could have changed the direction of my life because of what was denied by my father. So that's what I'm saying, that it's kind of hard to say how do you cut the line off, because the impact on the person directly also impacts those around him, his descendants also. Okay, just like here in California, I don't know if you heard about this, Paul Murray, Curtis, about Bruce Beach. The Bruce Beach was down in the Newport Beach area. It was a Black-owned beach for African Americans come vacation at. Everything else very prosperous at the turn of the century. The local city arbitrarily deemed the beach as a what's the term they talk about when they take your land? Right on the tip of my tongue. Basically, it's a classification where they can take your land, and the whole difference was they didn't even want to pay the people the money for the land. They just said we're just going to take it. Yeah, appropriate. Yeah, they just took the land from the people.
Yeah.
Okay, took the land of the people. Didn't do what they said.
Eminent domain.
There you go, Paul. Eminent domain. Eminent domain was struck upon this beach, and they said they were going to do some kind of improvement for the city, whatever. It basically is a big lie. And this is like early 1900s. It wasn't until the last 5 years that the state investigated this and everything else, deemed it was an unlawful assimilation of this property. So I guess the state stepped in and paid these folks something like 20-something million is basically what the whole thing is. They end up selling the land back to the state because it's state beach now, and so to speak. So you got to think, this land was taken from these people through eminent domain, at that time, and how does that affect the next generations? That was prosperous property. They were making, the family at the time was one of the richest families in the area, and the government stepped in and just took it away. So that's what I'm saying, that it's hard to say, well, it happened to that person and not this person.
Yeah.
Because whatever, because now you're talking about some people who were of means don't have nothing. How does that affect the next generation of that family who has to struggle and rebuild and everything else? So that's why I say, we talk about reparations and other things, and people from the Holocaust are being, compensated. Native Americans are being compensated through I know most of them have clinics on the tribal lands and other resources available to them. You go to some of these reservations, these folks are still living in almost dirt huts. Some of them still are to this day, and everything, because they still don't have a real means of an economic engine to help improve their situation. So it's a tough nut to crack, is what it is. There's no 100% right answer, and there's no 100% wrong answer.
Yeah.
You just gotta kind of wiggle through it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like I said, it's just so complicated on certain
And
levels.
there's just too many levels of grey, person.
Yeah, it is.
Because you might think you're right, and then another person might, have the same sort of ideology, but you look at it from your own perspective as well.
Yeah. When you
there
have
has to be a compromise and a way to meet in the middle,
yes,
not going too far one way or too far the other.
right.
And where someone from a group will want everything, or another group will want everything, or you just meet in the middle and find some way of tolerating each other.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it.
And
From
this
my
like,
point of view down here.
and my thing is, some of this stuff is not real old activities. The term peonage, which is basically another term for modern slavery, existed down in Florida until 1973, where people were getting so-called hired to work for these fruit pickers and other farmers, and so to speak. And these guys would live on the property. Now, the trick of the whole game was that they would charge these guys for their meals, for their bedding, everything else. So basically what they were making would never cover for the lodging. So this way they kept these folks basically permanently, in a status of debt that they couldn't get out of. And they were literally beating these people for not meeting quotas. And it wasn't until a young guy was beat to death that the state of Florida finally intervened and outlawed it. But it's if you look up peonage, it's basically one step off from slavery. And stuff is what that is. And like I said, a lot of states got involved in it. When you hear about the term chain gangs and all this kind of stuff, and these guys like that. That's how one of the ways the states got involved in free labor to these companies. States would loan out prisoners to companies to help their bottom line for the labor, and then they would pay the state back a certain percentage for all this free labor.
Yeah,
and people were getting arrested for minute crimes, vagrancy laws, this not having an ID on you, stupid stuff like this, and you would serve a couple of years on something like this. And that's how a lot of states created free labor forces for a lot of the companies that came up.
Yeah, as I said, it's a very grey area depending on what side of the fence you're on.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed Dom squirming for a while.
Yeah. As I said,
I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I'm also really lucky. My dad was in the military, and I didn't come back to the States until I was 16 or 17. And I know Broke Necks just made a comment. It was really prevalent in the military. It wasn't when we were in Germany and Italy. It was the Americans versus everybody else. It was you were one big family. So I never grew up with that. And then when we came back to Augusta, Georgia, and my dad got stationed at Fort Gordon, I was kind of surprised by the racism that was going on. I did not grow up in that area or that era or in that environment, I should say.
Right.
So I was lucky and also unlucky at the same time, because it was like a rude awakening when you came back to the States.
Right. Yeah.
So Dre,
yes, sir.
I may have found a glitch that is not good in the Avada.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Don't tell Mark Fisher.
Why?
he loves his Avada, but he's crashed 2 of them now.
Well,
I said, you ever glitch? I said, that's why I keep crashing.
So I've already shown part of this to the guys, the flight, and I'm only showing this because I want to give a clear idea of what I'm actually doing. So I'm going to share my screen. We call this the Cylinder Emporium. This is where I work, and I did just a quick little flight around. This is my second flight with the Avada, and my point of showing this is that I am indoors.
Okay.
All right. And I'm probably about 4 or 5 feet off the ground, maybe 6 at certain points. That's me just sitting right over there. I'm just kind of cruising around, just kind of figuring this thing out.
Looks fun.
Let me fast forward a little bit. And look how quiet this thing is. My buddy doesn't even notice it. I'm flying right up on him until the last second.
I thought the Avada was quite loud.
Well,
that's what people say.
Yeah.
You tell me. This is the end of the day. Everything's quiet. Everybody's going home.
Yeah. Right, that thing should be echoing off all the walls.
Yeah, he didn't hear it till the last second.
Yeah, okay, that's one guy you need to send to get his ears checked.
This is my boss right here. He's like, what the hell's this?
Yeah,
And then I go, and this is the important part here. I go fly outside. Now, this is where I'm going to show you guys something else here in just a second. So I fly through the doors right outside. No big deal. This is my truck, by the way.
Mhm.
All right. So firmly established that we have been indoors and outdoors.
mhm.
Now let me go share my air data KML file. Share. Can you guys see this?
Yeah,
Okay, so this is what we call the cylinder barn.
okay,
As I zoom in, you can see where I flew outside and around my truck.
mm-hmm.
But let me tilt up and lower the altitude up too much. You'll notice the flight is above the building.
Mm.
Well, I think that's the diagram of the flight will be above the building, because if they showed it inside the building, you wouldn't be able to see where you flew.
But for those of
Point.
us that are not trying to be on the FAA radar and are flying indoors, this says I flew outside.
No, because the data will still show the altitude levels you're flying at.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could tell by
And
the
we've also
impossible
got
you'd
the
be flying.
video.
But can you
Wow.
click on one of those lines? Will it tell you any data on it? How high it was or anything?
There is a way to do that.
But you've got the video that also states that you're in there.
Let me go back
Well,
over here.
that's obvious, but I'm saying if somebody
Video
just,
evidence.
I know what Curtis is saying, if he just had the
Yeah.
KML file, somebody went off of that, in the KML file, it does tell you what your altitude is, no matter what. So, him having the video is just extra insurance, but if someone just pulled the KML file, which is basically like you said, which is a linear file of your flight. It doesn't take an account of terrain or anything else. It's just that what the actual flight pattern was. That's what would be in your KML file. So if you flew in trees or whatever, it'll show your line going right through a tree if the tree had a hole in it.
Well, that's what it should show right now, is it inside that building, because it's uploading with the notifications.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you can isolate the line, the part of the flight where you're coming out of the building.
Let me go over here. So this is the one with notifications on. You guys
Okay.
seeing this?
Right.
All right. So let me shut
Mhm.
that down. Let me tilt up. Let me drop my altitude. And you can see it's showing 21 feet here.
Mm-hmm. 14 feet right below the 21.
Yeah. This is just showing the battery, it looks like.
Right. Yeah, it's showing the battery, but it still says 14 and 21, which I have to assume is going to be your AGL.
Right.
Because the other numbers are
Now
right
it's
next to the
showing
battery.
15.
15. Okay. So that right there alone would tell you you're inside the building. At 15 feet, 21 feet at the top, because those buildings, like I said, I'm looking at the main shipping door. And we
Mhm.
know that shipping door has got to be at least anywhere between 17 to 18 feet wide to get some kind of cargo out of that warehouse.
So now it says 16 feet
Hmm.
and then 21. Interesting.
Right.
It keeps changing. I think it's a minor thing, but I think it's a
Yeah.
glitch nonetheless.
Well, it could be a
Um,
glitch on the air data side. I don't think it's going to be the
I
live
think
side.
that's what I'm referring to, as a glitch on the air data side of things.
Yeah.
And I got a help ticket in to them about this and showing them this stuff.
Hmm.
It
Because
doesn't
now you had three numbers. You had 15, 16, and 21 as you
Yeah, I
move it
know.
back in there.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
15, 16, 21. So
Right.
I'm not real sure what that's referencing.
Yeah.
And it's not showing me anything else along the flight there. Let me stop this and go over to here. So
Mhm.
share screen. This is my air data file, and it's showing all my altitudes in here.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah, you know, it shows 1 foot, 3 foot,
Yeah.
14, 32, 26, 18. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that's your KML file information to tell you at the bat where you know, and they can look at that point, because you'll have a point there if you change that setting in air data, where each point is at all the A, B, C, D, E, F, G stuff,
Mhm.
and it'll show it if you're at 3 feet and it's right on the top of the building, and ain't possible that you're flying on the roof.
Well, for those of us that, I mean, I'm thinking about because I have a lot of warehouses up here at Port of Tacoma, and they're all
Mhm.
wanting me to do the fly through. They've been asking me for years.
Right.
Would you fly through my warehouse? And with the Mavic Pro, yeah, you could do it. It's like, but I really don't wanna. But with the Avata, it makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to and I know what you're going to say, but I really don't want to mess with the 107. It's $150 and 3 to 4 weeks of my time that I'll never get back. I'm 61. I could care less about it.
Well,
But
like I
flying
said-
indoors is not a big deal.
Like I say, indoors is not covered on the FAA.
Right.
So you don't need a 107 to fly
But if
indoors.
this is saying I'm outside, though, that's a different
No,
story.
no, the KML data would cover you on that. That would not be a problem. And plus, like I said, you have the footage to back you up anyway. So-
It's a minor thing. I don't think
Yeah.
it's a big deal. But
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting that I found that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's looked at that yet.
Yeah, I was going to address Brokeneck's statement about so how bad is the FAA bothering drone people these days? The FAA is not doing anything. The FAA is probably sitting on their heels until September of this year.
Last I heard, they were sitting around talking about whether to call it a she, a he, or them, or
Yeah,
they.
yeah, they had that little meeting. I think it was back in October, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I about fell out of my chair. All the pronouns. There were like almost 50 people in the chat too. I'm like in on screen the Zoom. There's like 50 people in the Zoom, and I'm sitting shaking my head. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This is the best we can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brokeneck. I would say that the FAA is sitting on things until the September this year, when remote ID is supposed to become active. And as I explained to Justin, everybody's worried about, well, who's going to be enforcing this and that. And it's what it turns out to be exactly what I thought it would be, that they have a program which is called LEAP, which is basically Law Enforcement Assistance Program. So basically, your local cops are going to be the enforcement arm of the FAA if they get a call on drone activity. So the local cops come out and they observe unlawful drone activity. They in turn will contact the FAA for further investigation. So they would not be, they've already said it was not upon the officers to need to confiscate anybody's drone unless it's, some other laws are being broken. You out there, just getting crazy and harassing people or whatever, or doing something unlawful. But just for standard operations, as long as they get your information, they will forward it over to the FAA, and the FAA will reach out to you from there. But the LEAP agreement between local law enforcement and the FAA is how they will do the enforcement.
Hey, Trey, I hate to interrupt you, but I got
Go ahead.
coffee, so.
You enjoy yourself, sir. I'm looking out the window and it is spitting rain out there.
Oh,
Me
it's still
too.
raining on that area?
Yeah, this is another storm coming through. That's why I had to
Yeah.
get out yesterday and get my flight in for one of my projects. Because I said we had a 12-hour window break.
Huh? Cool. Anyways, Paul, I'll catch you later. eh?
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, I'll see you in the morning. Oh, no, I won't be here in the morning.
Ooh,
That train show in the morning. I gotta
oh,
leave here.
that's right. You're doing trains. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to Woodstock at 9:00. I gotta leave here about 9.
Paul, you got to show me some pictures of that train you got going on there, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of my, I wasn't serious into it like you are, but it was one of those things I grew up wanting to get into. I was more of a slot car racer myself. That was
Yeah.
my thing. And trains kind of come along with that. and just never had the space to really set up a permanent layout. And I
Yeah.
just bought a bunch of train stuff for my grandson. He's turned 10 this year, 10 or 11.
That's part of my
So,
life there.
yeah. So yeah, that's awesome.
I'll show you some other time. Maybe what I can do is run off the computer upstairs. I got a webcam in there and stuff. So.
Yeah, I was really interested in how you integrate the computer with the
Yeah,
track.
I
Yeah.
can run 5, 6 trains or whatever all at the same time, and they won't
Yeah.
run into each other.
Right. So that's
I'm
what
telling you,
saying.
Paul, you need to start a train channel. Forget the drone stuff.
Yeah.
That's even
that's-
bigger.
I think that will hook my grandson even more if he, say I can use my computer, which means you can use a tablet or whatever to
Yeah.
help operate the trains. There's software out there that you can, work with train sets and stuff.
And this is the upper level. I haven't done
Mhm.
any landscaping or anything here yet, but
Mhm. So you're
Nice.
doing like a HO scale. I'm looking at. Am I
that's all
correct?
HO scale. Yeah, I got 2 doubles in the train room.
Oh, okay.
Paul, stick a GoPro on that thing, drive it
Yeah.
around the track.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but anyways,
Or better yet, put an Osmo on there so it'll take the jitters out
yeah.
as you're running through the track.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
But anyways, okay, guys, I got to run. So,
Okay,
All
Paul.
right. You take care, Paul.
yeah, see you guys.
Bye, Paul. Paul, I tell you, when you brought this guy in, gonna classy the place up.
Oh, I know it. Dre is the man.
I'm not the man.
Yes, you
I,
are.
I
you
would
are
say
the man.
I say Dominic's the man. He got that like little cute luau shirt on tonight. Like he got somewhere to go. He got somewhere to go.
He's all
got a little-
relaxed.
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do on a Sunday.
like I said, got that pig roasting out there in the dugout pit and stuff. Wait for a little Don Ho music in the background. Tiny
Yeah,
bubbles.
Yeah,
In the one.
I'll just go out and get that started then.
Yeah. Yeah. They say throw a couple more shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah,
Now, Dominic is he's got quite a following,
Yeah. Yeah.
but not Dre. There's nobody. Curtis will agree with me. There's nobody as classy
Oh, no.
and as stylish
Yeah.
as you are.
This guy.
Like I say, it's a life journey. Life journey, John.
Well, thank you for sharing your life's journey with us because it makes us better people.
Well, that's my whole thing I was getting to, Paul. It's a life journey and wanting to be better each day. It's that's why I tell people, try to find something about yourself that you want to improve, get better at, and just keep moving forward. Because going backwards or standing still is not going to help you at all.
By the way, shameless promotion, self-promotion here. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock, live streaming 3 ROVs at the same time underwater.
That's 11 o'clock West Coast time.
West Coast
Okay.
time.
Good. I'll have to remember.
I don't think anybody else has put 3 ROVs in the water at the same time and live streamed it.
No,
So it's going to be a complete catastrophe. We're all going to get tangled up. So tune in for the disaster.
Oh man.
Me and the other 2 pilots have had a lot of conversations about tether management the last couple of days, and we have different ideas, but we're going to be running into 12-mile-per-hour winds, which is going to create a little bit of a surface issue. So if you're not using tether management, in other words, you have 60 foot of line out, but you're only 10 feet out, it's going to act like a sail in the water and start dragging your ROV around because these tethers float. They're meant to float.
Mhm.
So it's going to be interesting.
Okay.
Dominic, you're the time guy. What time is that? It's
so
3:43 right now on the Pacific Coast.
so it's
so
6:43 here. It's 3 hours difference.
yeah, I'm just trying to work out the what is that in Eastern? Because I judge everything on Eastern.
So it's it's 6 4 3. You're going on at 11.
11.
That would be 2 o'clock Eastern time.
2 o'clock Eastern. So that should be
Birdman is asking, is that what time is that in UK
Five.
time?
Should
Well,
be
5
about
hours less
7.
in UK.
Yeah, so it's 5 hours. You've got to drop 5 hours to go to the UK. So
Yep.
it should be 7 a.m.
Okay.
Should be.
7 a.m. Birdman. Who's Birdman?
David.
Oh, okay. Well, I should have figured that
David.
one
I've
out.
seen David before, yes.
I just never heard
Well,
him called
it wouldn't
Birdman.
be 7 a.m. That's going the wrong
7
direction.
p.m., sorry.
7 p.m.
PM.
Yeah, so 7 p.m.
It depends on which way you drive from, or which side
Yeah.
of the road you drive from.
Yeah.
So you about to shut this down, Mr. Murray?
I can if everybody's ready to shut her down.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. I
Take a little break.
I don't know. I'd never heard Birdman before. I should have put it together. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, we can shut her down if everybody's ready to leave.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, Paul. It's your call.
Okay, everybody in the chat, thanks for being here. We'll see all of you again sometime tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tune in, and maybe Dre will join us at some point in time tomorrow.
If I'm going to tell you guys now, if he wears a tie, I'm out.
All right, Curtis. You take care, Curtis, and good luck with tune in tomorrow for Curtis's show. And we'll see all of you then.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paul, for once again letting me come on. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Dominic, nice talking to you again, buddy.
Yep.
See you guys on the interwebs. I got to go charge batteries for tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, by the way, Paul, you're still live.
I can't figure out how to turn it off. I've lost the control on the side. I guess maybe I'm just going to have to reboot it.
Let me see here.
Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Okay. All
Got it?
right. Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
I was about to come in. I saw you guys were live, but then you were like, all right, bye for now. And then you guys kept talking. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Are you doing a live tonight?
Yeah, at 8 o'clock. I
8
was just
o'clock.
yeah, I was in the server doing some stuff, so
Okay.
I just jumped out. But all right.
Okay, Justin, thanks for coming in. Better late than never, right?